If you're tired of boring and bland, healthy meals or trying to hit your protein goal, then this is absolutely the recipe for you. Coming in at around 43 grams of protein and around 400 calories, it is a great meal to help you reach your protein and weight loss goals or just make healthier and delicious meals. I'm Amy, a nutrition coach, and welcome to the To Explore Wellness channel. I've successfully lost and kept off 40 pounds by making healthy and delicious meals just like this. And that's what we're doing on this channel is I'm gonna help you make healthy and delicious meals that are lower in calories and higher in protein, not only to help you reach your weight loss goals, but just be healthier overall. Finding meals that are delicious and healthy make all the difference on your journey. So let's go ahead and make this one. I'm excited. Our ingredients. So we are going to use ground chicken for our giant schnitzel bread. And in addition to that, we are going to just add some seasonings to it. And I have some oregano, garlic powder, and then I'll also use some salt and pepper. Then I'm also gonna add some chives. You can kind of add whatever you'd like. And then we are going to need some flour just to kind of keep from sticking, some breadcrumbs, and an egg wash. And then once the schnitzel is in the oven, we are going to make our Caesar salad, which is just, simple lettuce. I'm gonna use a mix of romaine and then pick some fresh stuff from my garden. Some Parmesan cheese, and that gives us a protein boost too. And then your favorite Caesar dressing. I'm gonna do a mix of a fat-free one and a fuller fat one. And if you haven't seen my Caesar chicken chaffle video, you should totally watch that. It's kind of similar to this one, except it uses a waffle iron and it doesn't have like the breadcrumbs and stuff, but it is absolutely delicious. I will link that in the description so that you can watch it if you want. So let's get cooking. All right, so we can preheat the oven to 400. We're gonna start with our ground chicken in a large bowl. I'm gonna do about a teaspoon each of oregano and garlic powder, and then salt and pepper, and some fresh chives, but you could also use some minced onion or omit it. You could totally go at this with your hands, but I don't like touching raw meat. I'm gonna use a spatula. And this looks well combined, so we can go ahead and move on to the next step. So we're just gonna lay out some parchment paper and flour the surface before putting on our chicken. And you can use your hands for this step, but like I said, I don't like touching chicken meat. So I'm just gonna put a little flour on my paddle and just kind of like flatten it out. And we can just keep flattening this out. Feel free to shape it into a square or a rectangle or just keep it round. I'm making more of like, a sandwich, so I'm gonna try to get it nice and square. And again, if you're using your hands, just kind of flour it so it doesn't get sticky. We wanna get this roughly 1/4 of an inch thick, maybe a little less. Now that we have our schnitzel the size we want, I made a long rectangle, it just happened that way, but you can make it more square. We're gonna do our egg wash. All right, so we're gonna need to brush both sides of this with egg. I wish I was one of those people that could do a one-handed egg crack. I'm not. I haven't tried, but I also don't think I can. Well, I shouldn't say I don't think I can. I kind of just tried to do it now and I don't even know how people do it. I think I need to read how people crack with one hand. Can you do it? I should probably learn. I might practice. All right, so our egg is whisked and we are going to brush. Actually, I'm just gonna pour it on. I think it's easier that way. So we're just gonna brush it until it's completely coated, a nice thin layer. We don't want any goopy spots, but we wanna make sure it is fully coated. And by the way, if you have any excess flour on your parchment paper, just kind of wipe that away so that it doesn't get in your way later when we flip this. We're gonna go ahead and put our breadcrumbs on top. I'm using about 1/4 cup. And we can just kind of push it in, spread it out, make sure it gets everywhere. I'm just gonna also put a little bit of Parmesan on top, about 2 tablespoons. And now for the fun part, the flip. So wish me luck on this one. All right, so we're just gonna put our parchment on top, our pan on top. All right, let's see. I should have made the parchment bigger. Anyway, get your hand under, your whole arm under, and flip. but it was still a success. And let's lift up this parchment. And then we're just gonna repeat the same things over again, our egg wash, our breadcrumbs, and our Parmesan. So something curious I just noticed, somehow I ended up with 2 containers of breadcrumbs, but I was looking at them and the calories are 30 different. This one is 30 calories more. So I looked at the labels a little bit more closely and realized that this says it's a slightly higher weight and more carbs, by 6 grams more carbs. And this one actually has more protein and the same gram of fat. I guess my point is, look at the labels, because just because they seem the same doesn't mean they are necessarily the same. Obviously, this goes for a lot of different things. Like I've seen Alfredo sauces where the calories will vary, 100 and some calories per serving, because this can add up pretty quickly. 30 becomes 60, becomes 90, etc. So just something to keep an eye out for and be aware of. But anyway, we're gonna finish this up and get it in the oven. Oh, I almost forgot. We have to spray this with oil before we put it in the oven. So you do wanna make sure that your egg is not clumpy. I just got like a little bit of a clump here, I guess where the egg was thicker, and it didn't quite like sit well on the meat. So just something to be aware of. And pro tip, if you are tracking macros, this says 0 calories. It is not 0 calories. There's some fake ones, which maybe might be, but what you should do is put it on the scale, make sure the scale is zeroed out, then use it, put it back on the scale, and I just used 4 grams, which is 60 calories, right? So that makes a big difference. If you're eating the whole 4 grams, that's a lot more calories than you thought you were doing. So anyway, let's get this in the oven. So while our schnitzel bread is in the oven, we're just gonna prep our salad, and I have a mix of romaine lettuce, and then I also picked some fresh stuff from my home garden. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you might have seen me talk about it before. It is literally one of my favorite things because I have fresh lettuces and herbs all the time. It is amazing. It is like the gift that keeps on giving. I've made so many delicious things with it. And I also have a discount code so that you can save if you want to check it out. Of course, I will leave that in the description so you can decide if it's something that you want in your home too. So we're just gonna get these chopped up and then prep the salad. Also, if you're looking for more healthy, delicious, higher protein, lower calorie meals, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so, because I've got a lot already on my feed and of course a lot more coming. If you want some things that are not on my channel, then I highly recommend checking out my ebooks. I have a few different ones. I have one that's geared towards 5 ingredient weeknight meals, one that is 30 grams of protein, around 300 calories, 30 minutes or less to make. So that one's, again, great for anyone with health or weight loss goals. I have ones that are geared towards dessert lovers, 50 different recipes. I have a bunch to choose from, so highly recommend you check those out in the link in the description. So the schnitzel is just about ready. It did take about 20 minutes in my oven. Obviously, keep an eye on it. It may need a few more to get nice and crispy on top. But for the Caesar salad, I am going to do a mix of my low calorie Caesar dressing and my higher calorie full fat Caesar dressing, because we do need some healthy fats. And you can make as little or as much salad as you want. I would say 1 to 2 cups per serving. And to get 40 grams of protein for the schnitzel, you are going to divide it into 3 portions. I'm gonna start with 1.5 tablespoons of this and 1/2 tablespoon of this, of the higher calorie one. And then we're also gonna add some Parmesan on top as well. And I will link both of these in the description. This one is, a high quality one, not made with any junky ingredients. It's avocado oil based. And then this one is, a less creamy Caesar because, it has less calories. Its first ingredient is water, right? So this kind of gives you that flavor, and mixing them both gives you that creaminess with, bringing down the calories, because this can get pretty caloric. This is 130 calories for 2 tablespoons. This is 10. So you can tell why I'm mixing it. All right, so we're gonna do our tablespoon of the fat-free dressing and about half a tablespoon of the full fat. And just mix it up. Once you've got it mixed up, you can determine if you wanna add more dressing or not. And we can't forget adding some Parmesan to our salad. All right, we've got our schnitzel out of the oven and it looks amazing. Look at how good that looks. Oh my God, so crispy. I'm so excited. I'm drooling. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chop this in half so that we can make our sandwich, and then we can put it all together with the lettuce in the middle. So I'm actually gonna transfer this because I wanna put the really crispy side on the outside. So we can just put our salad on top. And just add the second one on top. All right, now time for a taste test on this. Oh my God, this thing is massive. Oh. This right here is a winner. Now, if you don't want to do the whole sandwich thing, you can also slice this up and put it on top of your salad. You can also, I've seen other people cut it in strips and dip it. You can put it in a wrap. There's so many different ways that you can eat and enjoy this. I really hope you enjoyed making this recipe with me today, and I hope that you subscribe so that you can stick around and get more healthy, delicious, and high protein recipes. As always, the recipe, macros, and all the links to these things are going to be in the description. So thank you again, and see you next time.